This conference will now be recorded.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Commissioner meeting of October 26th. We're going to start this meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance. Please join me. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, that brings us to our public forum. Do we have anybody in the room that would like to address the commission?
There's nobody in the room to address.
Okay. Is there anybody on the virtual wall that would like to address the commission? Is there any cards or letters that have come in behalf? All right.
No.
Then in that case, I'm going to close the public forum aspect and move on to our agenda approval. I see a beautiful agenda on my upper screen. How do we like said agenda?
Can we remove 6A? It's a duplicate of 6B.
6A is the duplicate of 6B. Okay, we'll strike B and just leave A. How about that?
Sure.
All right. With that correction on the agenda, any additional comments on the agenda? I entertain a motion to accept the corrected agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda with the corrections.
Do I hear a second?
I second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, we have an approved agenda. Let's get into it. Let's take a look at our consent items A through J. Any comments, concerns, or dialogue?
No, I'd make a motion to approve consent agenda items A through J.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
I second it.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All right, consent items passed. We're down to old business, and we have one item. We have item 6A, the Sparkman annexation, BRB final acceptance. I assume we're going to staff.
Right, so the 45-day mandatory public comment period for the petition for annexation of the area known as Sparman expired on October 17th with no comments made or requests for additional BRB review. Resolution 1055 will bring the Sparman area into the district, and the resolution's been reviewed by legal and staff and is recommended for approval.
All right. Any dialogue at this point in regards to resolution 1055?
No, other than I would make a motion to approve resolution number 1055, which is that resolution from the Board of Commissioners for Lake Stevens Sewer District, annexing a certain area known as the Sparman annexation to the Lake Stevens Sewer District boundaries.
All right, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
I second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, that passes. That brings us to 7A, new business, the discussion in regards to amending some billing procedures. I assume we're going to staff to have a little dialogue.
We are. We pull up a little flow chart here. I know this is very difficult to see for some of you. Commissioners, I printed it out for you, and I also emailed it to you, Commissioner Coachy.
Yeah.
I'll make it as large as
It
I
actually
can.
looks great on my screen. That's fantastic.
So I just want to kind of walk you through. We've had over the years several comments from folks that have connected to the sewer system about the timing of when billing for regular sewer starts. Under the current system, they'll apply for their permit. The permit is good for 90 days. And they pay up front for, of course, their permit fee and any other fees if there's GFCs associated with it, depending on what it is. And then monthly sewer service begins. Then the owner would complete the work for the side sewer installation. We would come out and inspect that, and then eventually their project, depending on a multitude of factors would complete. This, of course, can be months or maybe sometimes even years before they can say move into a new house, but they've been paying for monthly sewer service fees. Staff has looked at this process, and we've looked at a few other sewer districts on what they do. And we believe it's possible to rewrite our code to allow for billing to start a little bit later. But we wanted to get commissioners' input on this and maybe understand what all should go into that resolution and how you were feeling about it. The proposed new system, the owner would submit a permit application. They would complete the work. We would go do the inspection, and then based on the inspection, we would start monthly billing. In the past, this has been, we haven't gone to this in the past for fear of the folks that do not call for an inspection, which actually happens quite often. This will take a lot more staff effort to make sure that we are on top of looking at every month, everybody that has a permit out there and making sure we get out there and see, have they actually done the work? So there's a little less of the safeguards of getting that monthly fee going, but we can compensate for that. This again is only going to help maybe 2 to 3 months worth of delayed starting of billing for these projects. So it's not a perfect solution in the eyes of a new development or a new home going in. So it's not just the developers, but it could be infill lots or, adding an ADU or something like that for the customers that are concerned about this. So the other question that we have got is if we change the permits that are open right now, should this change in policy be retroactive? That question has already been posed to staff. And just looking for commissioners' feedback so that as we write this resolution, we bring back to you something that is well thought out and planned.
The comment I have is, could you make the process for district inspection like more detailed? Because I do think that right from when they do the permit to if they don't apply for inspection, it seems like things could fall through the cracks if for some reason you had someone who is overloaded with work or whatever and they are just not following through on those details. And so I personally would like to see some type of parameters of how you would keep track of from the permit application to the inspection.
On the staff side of it?
Yeah.
Okay, we can do that. The other thing we have thought about and wanted your input on is, let's say that the contractor doesn't call for an inspection. One of the districts we look at says, well, then retroactively, we're going to start billing as if it was the first day that you applied for the permit.
And that's what I would say. If we have something where we never get that inspection, maybe there's a caveat in that if a inspection was not done, it will be retroactive to the day you applied for that permit, and we will charge you from that point on. And that way, if that's really clear to an individual, because it is quite common in the building industry, unfortunately. Not necessarily, I think, when you're doing generals at times, but a lot of times you're going to get homeowners that might want to do something. And I know under the county umbrella, there's a lot of times people don't get their finals, and so those permits sit out there forever open and, but I mean, that's something like that. I think that the onus has to be put back onto the property owner to know that if we're going to go with this route, if you fail to follow through with that, we're just going to take it back to the time you applied the permit. So you could be months, if not years back, because I think we have found where people have made some, illegal side sewer connections that we sometimes find out years later. So, yeah.
So when they apply for the application and pay the permit fee, then do they receive like some type of paperwork that would detail these instructions so that it's all clear and upfront.
Yep, it's all clear and upfront. They actually sign the permit, so they understand when billing is starting.
Okay.
And it's like bold, you must call for an inspection.
Okay.
So one of the recommendations from staff was that we update that language with whatever changes we're gonna make to code in the timing.
Okay, perfect.
And as
I
far,
don't think the change should be retroactive.
Okay.
That's my opinion, but.
So,
yeah, staff.
so my thoughts are twofold. One, philosophically, I agree with having charges start when service actually, there's a benefit of service. That feels right to me. I'm also sensitive about increased staff time and trying to chase people. So I guess I would be look into the things that were discussed, but is it possible to leave it as it is, but provide an option at the end that once it's inspected, a homeowner can easily share, here's when we got occupancy, from the city, and we'll refund them from occupancy to when they had their, use that as the date, but put the onus on the person who's going to get the benefit from the new stance. So there might be a way to thread the needle to protect us from it sitting out there, to make sure that staff doesn't have to be spending any more time than they're spending now, but still give the benefit to the applicant to be able to have the charges actually be from the time they are receiving the value of service. So yeah, maybe there's something there that could be looked at.
Yeah, I would agree. I think the occupancy one's a pretty easy one to find, because obviously they would get a sign off by the city or unincorporated county if it was still within the county, but in the district's boundaries. My only concern would be those connections that, let's say, sewer's now offered through a certain area, and you're getting existing residences that are going to start connecting to maybe the sanitary system because it's the best way to go. And that falls through. That's a concern.
We have been, Jonathan and I, talking with the city of Lake Stevens and their permitting staff. So they do not issue certificates of occupancy for residential. They do for commercial. There's not a perfect fail-safe way for us to get that information from them at this point. And we haven't started discussions with county yet to make sure that we could get the same types of information from them. So at this point, we were trying to rely on what we can do internally, because it becomes a lot more challenging if we're going to rely on city information to get over to us.
Well, yeah, they're busy. I think you guys are on top of it, and your staff will probably take a look. And I think we're a large sewer district. We have 14,000+ connections and more, trying to get that. So it's going to always be a little challenge. Because it's not like cable or electricity, it's going to the house. People will do things to tap into our system without our knowledge, and unfortunately we find those things. But I look at it as, I think, in my opinion and staff, you guys will come forward with a great recommendation that I think will meet the needs.
All right, thank you.
All right, good on the dialogue there on 7A. All right, well, let's move to some more dialogue with a general manager's report.
All right. Flow at the plant right now is 2.599 million gallons a day. I have good news, and this is something we have been working on for literally years, but we can accept now connection fees, permits, and deposits through credit cards and EFTs. So that has been a real struggle, but now it is active. And the real struggle side of it was getting it to import directly into our accounting software. And so that part is all functional, and we have accepted 2 permits this way now. So things are looking up, and we're excited about it. The other bit of news, we've been contacted by the Washington State Auditor's Office. They are running really behind this year on their audits. So they have requested that the 2022 audit, which has not started yet this year, which typically would have started already for us, they've asked that they actually do it in 2024 along with the 2023 audit. So if they would, they could do a combined 2-year audit instead of auditing us this year, because they're not going to get to us. I have verified with all of our bond counsel and with the agencies we have to report our financials to, and they are all okay with that and will accept unaudited financials until such time that we have the audited ones. So it's more of an information that we won't have one this year, but that is why, because they don't have, they need to get it done.
The question would be, do we get the 2023 pricing?
Oh, I did fail to ask that.
Because they'll probably increase their pricing for 24, it seems like, but.
That is true. That is true. Good question.
Yeah.
I'm always a fan of being congenial with auditors, so that sounds good.
All right, that's all I have. Thank you.
All right, fantastic. How about our assistant general manager?
All right. So we've collected 68.07 GFCs thus far and have issued 134 permits. And that's about all I got.
All right, short and sweet. Move to the city. I see our city administrator. How are you? Anything you'd like to share today, Gene?
I'm great. Good to see everybody. We've got Harvest Fest coming up next week on October 31st here at North Cove Park from 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. I'd love to see people come out for that. Last week, City Council took action to purchase a property on the south end of the lake for a future city hall. So more will be coming out on that, but we're pretty excited about it because that allows us to finish out North Cove when we get these modular buildings moved out of here and finish the parking lot and do some things here. And we also have our eye on a future museum still. So lots going on in that, and more information will be coming out shortly. And that's all I have. Awesome.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Commissioners reports. Start with Commissioner number 1.
Good morning. Not a whole lot, did the section 3 meeting for the Washington Association of Water and Sewer District. We have that monthly. We just had a good overview by the presenter just on a lot of the issues in financing that are coming forth for a lot of our districts, and but not just sewer, but also water. So other than that, we're winding up the year, it seems like. I know that the association being part of that same thing. A lot of things moving. The legislative session, as we all know, will begin before we knew it. And so I think right now everybody's just trying to get information on what are the things in front of these different districts that need to be presented next year. But I just want to thank staff for all the hard work. I know that we're doing something, not just, the district, we're going to help with the Community Resource Center volunteers out at Target with the Volunteers of America. So I look forward to doing that. I know we've done that I think last year. We'll do it again this year. And I think as Gene was talking about Harvest Fest, I know in my other role as a Lion member, we'll be downtown with lots of candy for trick-or-treaters. So
The district will be at Harvest Fest as well.
oh, good. Maybe we'll come over and eat some of your candy.
Please don't let it be Tootsie Rolls.
It's not.
Just kidding.
Something equally
Funny, it'll be big roots. That's it, thanks.
All right, Commissioner number 2.
My comments are very brief. I just found the WASWAD meeting very informative. We talked about rate structure and just all the details of financing, and I found it to be one of the more interesting ones. And just gratitude to the staff. I brought them a little something in the break room, so grateful for all they do.
Oh, it's fantastic. Appreciate that. Appreciate you. My report is equally brief. I certainly appreciate the staff. And I also appreciate the fact that we continue to move forward in technology. I know something as simple as something sounds, such as accepting credit cards. When you start talking about integration of backend systems and licensing and features and all that sort of stuff, that there's a lot of devil in the details on that. So appreciate the perseverance through that. The other thing I'd say is, we don't talk about this a lot, it would be some appreciation and recognition of our partners, both at the city, both at Hunter Anderson and both at GNO. You folks are helpful. You're a key part of the extended district, and we would not be successful without those three key partnerships. So I just wanted to extend that. With that, I think we got an executive session. We talked about it at the front end. And is there anything else I'm missing before we take a step over that threshold?
Nope.
Okay, well, let's step over that threshold. Mr. Falls, do you want to do the preamble? Mariah, how much time, or commissioners, how much time do you think?
Let's go to 9:45.
9:45, so 25 minutes. Very good.
Okay, the Lake Stevens Sewer District Commission will now move into executive session pursuant to RCW 42.30.110 to discuss with legal counsel representing the agency matters relating to pending litigation to which the agency, the governing body, or member acting in an official capacity is or is likely to become a party. The executive session will conclude at 9:45 a.m. At the conclusion of the executive session, the commission will adjourn the board meeting with no related announcements or actions taken.
Very good. Let's lock her down.
This conference will now be recorded.
All right, we're back out of executive session, and as promised, no decisions or actions are to be taken. Other than, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Oh, make a motion to adjourn.
I second it.
All in favor? Aye.